All right. Welcome, everyone. Thanks for tuning in today. I'm here with Kylie Dang. Hey, Kylie.
Hello, Julie.
I am so happy to be with you. And I love what you just said before I clicked the button to go live, which is let's have fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's have
Mhm.
fun. We already have people liking and giving us hearts. Thank you so much for that. Let us know in the comments where you're tuning in from. My name is Julie Migneault, for those of you who don't know me. I'm the founder of Thriving Healers, which is a program to mentor and support practitioners into growing thriving practices. And Kylie Dang is one of the members of our program. She joined us. Hey Tabitha, I see you in the chat there. Hey Tiffany. Hi Amy. Amy from your groups here, Kylie. Some
Yeah.
love and support. um, and I wanted to invite Kylie to join me today because I've been hearing from a lot of practitioners that it can be, there's so much uncertainty right now in the world that there's this question like, is now a good time to be putting myself out there and putting my services out there? And Kylie has such an incredibly powerful story. She's incredibly inspiring to me. And even just when you ask, like, let's have fun, that's one of the things you always say in the group. Like, I set my intention to have fun when I do these things. And I've taken that on myself. So you're teaching me to make sure that when I do anything, right, like, can I make it fun? um, so we're going to share a little bit of Kylie's story today and give you a little bit of a case study of what's possible, how she's been working with the material of Thriving Healers, and what's happening in her healing practice. So Kylie, do you want to start by just kind of sharing a little bit about yourself and your work for us?
My name is Kylie. I originally came from Vietnam. I came to US 8 years ago, and I have been doing energy healing work professionally about more than 5 years. And my private practice is in Santa Clara, California.
Very cool. Wow, eight
Yeah.
eight years in the States. That's not actually that long of a time for all that you've created and built in your life. You're a mover and a
Yeah.
shaker.
Yeah. And what else? What else? Your question? I forgot.
No, that was the only question I asked so far. So, I think it'd be really great just to give people a sense of like what was happening for you. So, just so everybody knows, Kylie joined Thriving Healers in February. So, 3 months now of our 12-month program. What was happening for you in your healing practice in your life before you joined Thriving Healers? Like, what was going on? How are you feeling about your work?
Oh, before trying the driving healer, I work with the client one on one and just by session. And my I only know like what I can make in 1 week, and the week after that, I didn't know
Right.
where the client come from. Will they book the session with me or not? So constantly, I have to working with fear and just hold my
Right.
feet grounded onto the earth. And before driving Hula program, I have to be honest. I'm living on my saving because I go to the training and spend a lot of money. And I just thought like, oh, I go into the good school. The client just show up at my door. But
I,
didn't
I thought
happen
that
that
too.
way. Yeah. And I went to the resentment, like, why did that happen to me? But then I learned like the healing skill and the business, how to make it work. There is a two different concepts.
Yeah, that's so important and something that I think I know I always try to let people know that. Like when I went to the Barbara Brennan School of Healing, I thought I'm going to leave here and I'm going to have the skills that I need to have a practice. It's just going to happen. I didn't see further than that. And I would really say it's like it gets you maybe 50% of the way to actually having a healing practice, right? It gives you the
Mm,
skills and the embodiment and all those things, but it doesn't give you the skill set, which is true of most modalities. I hear that from coaches too, life coaches that go through this training and they think that that's going to, be sufficient to have a practice. Um, but there's a different skill set that we have to learn, right? And,
yeah.
and a
Yes.
way of being. Um, so tell us a little bit about like what was part of your decision to join Thriving Healers? And as you do this, I'm just going to grab a tissue just so you know what I'm doing.
Oh,
But um, it's chilly
what is
here.
the what is the decision for me to join? Like why I joined the driving healer?
Uh-huh. Yeah. What was it about Thriving Healers that made you want to join?
First of all, I would love to say this is my intention first, because after 5 years, I could not be able to have a sustainable income as a healer. So I feel I need to have a responsibility for myself and my business to make it work, to build a thriving healing practice. And then I happened to sign up to one of your webinar,
Mhm.
and I love it a lot because like, oh, after watching that video, I could be able to make like 2,000
Uh-huh.
right away, and I'm like, wow, it's so cool. But then I still be in doubt, like, oh, I'm not sure how it works. And then I happened to talk to one of your graduated student from Thriving Healer, and she really helped me the way she talked to me, and I feel just so different. And I took a leap of faith. And when I tried in your program, I feel there is the merit between the healing and the business. It just give me the two wings to be able to fly. Is it?
Yeah. Yeah, you're certainly flying. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a really good way to say it, like the marriage between the healing skills and the business skills. And I don't know, but I'll just ask you, I don't know if you had this part, a lot of practitioners I talk to do. Did you have any resistance to business in general? A lot of healers are like, marketing business, no. Like, I don't want any of part of that. Or was this something that you were part of what you were excited about?
Oh, I have a lot of resistance too. It's just like um, because the Kylie before the doing the healing work, I don't want people to look at me like, oh, I'm doing something magic or doing
Right.
so. Like I kind of hide myself,
Hmm.
and the resistance like if I talking about marketing, is it like I'm just talking about myself,
Right.
and is my ego so high, so I'm just always hide myself and afraid to I want to be seen, but at the same time I'm afraid to be seen. Is it make sense? I think that is a
Total
resistance.
sense. I have that one too. Anybody make a number one in the comments. Comment me number one if you've had that feeling of I want to be seen, I want to hide at the
Yeah,
same time. Yeah,
yeah.
it's and working our way through that can be uncomfortable. um,
But with the I have to share like one thing, but with the trying the thriving healer really make me feel like I don't have to be a different Kylie to marketing. I just bring what I have inside and offer that outside. And
yes,
whoever resonate will take it. And
yes.
if not, it's okay too.
Yes,
Yeah.
wonderful. Perfect. I love that. Yeah, and I think that's one of the big keys here is if we see a lot of I mean, I think there is a lot of training or we can, do things where marketing teachings are asking us to do something that's not totally authentic. And so part of what's so important, especially for practitioners like you and me, is being able to find that place where it's like, I'm just being myself
Hmm.
and I always say marketing is being willing to be seen in your gifts, right? And being willing to be seen in your gifts is kind of a scary thing at times for many of us. So we're getting lots of number ones in the comment here. Thank you.
Ah.
You're not alone. I'm not alone. Rosalind, Catherine, Amy, Ruth Ann, Amber, Diane, thank you. Um, Catherine says, and look, I can put this here so we can see it, so you can see it too. That's beautiful. You're being heart centered and authentic. You will find your peeps that way. Yeah. So you've been in the program for 3 months. What tangible results have you seen in your practice so far?
Oh, the tangible. Yeah. So I learned the skill. I think that is the number one skill. If you want to be successful in healer, yoga teacher, whatever, need to know there is a environment skill, step by step, and with like to be how to be in the conversation with the client. And are you ready for the number?
Yeah, I want to hear the number.
So in
Are you
less than
ready?
two, are you ready? So less than 2 months.
Everybody, wait, everybody get
Uh,
ready for your minds to be blown.
so less than 2 months, I can be able to enroll 10 clients for my 6 month program and one client for my 8 month program. And I make around 80,000. 80,000.
80,000 in 2 months. Yeah, it's incredible. Yeah.
Yeah. I was struggling from session by session and like really trying so hard to just follow my passion. And now I could be able to walk up every day and not worry about how much I make for in next week. Very sustainable income, and then I can use my heart and own up my energy to just be with my client. So it's
Yeah.
a beautiful place.
I think that's such a really important thing to name because it's almost, there's a word in Hawaiian. I live in Hawaii, right? It's called your kuleana. Kuleana is like sacred responsibility. And it's when we don't have the ability to do what you just said, become sustainable in our healing practices, my experience is that we get stuck in a lot of survival and there's a lot of stress, right? It's like you said, like, am I gonna have to go get a job? You know, where's my next client gonna come from for next week? That creates a level of stress in our systems that is going to be present in our work on a subtle level, right? So part of the kuleana, right, the sacred responsibility of the gifts that we want to bring forward is to be able to do this in a way that we can stay in that place of like, this is sustainable and I can just actually show up and be present for my clients. So I think you're naming something that's really important. And in, you know, a lot of times healers, practitioners, and I was there at the beginning, is like, it feels selfish to just earn a good income somehow. And it's actually the opposite of selfish. It's actually so important to be able to then give, right? And I think you just said that really beautifully. So congratulations, because what I saw, just so that, like, you know, it's like, how did Kylie create those results? And you can speak to this, but what I saw was that you really you had a clear intention and you were so committed. So you actually committed fully to learning the skill and putting it into practice, right?
Yeah. What I feel is the empower in your thriving healing program is not about you promise with me, you will, I will make this certain number. It's just about like, I promise with myself, I take on up the step, what the program need me to take and apply right away.
Yep.
And then when I apply right away, I can get the result right away.
Yep.
So it's about that. So I feel empowered because I myself take the value of the program and bring value to myself and my practice and my client. So for me, that is so important, very powerful that way.
Yeah, again, I think you're speaking to something really important. Like, you took what we're offering and you took responsibility for applying it. And we want that from our clients as practitioners, right? Right? Like, we want our clients to, the thing I hear over and over is, I want my clients to be highly committed and do the work, right?
Yeah.
And so what you're saying is you did that for yourself with this program. And I imagine that that's mirrored in what happens in your healing practice. Would you say your clients tend to be really committed?
Yes, I now like before that, like I like no, the client just I could not be able to handle some hard case, but now it's more about I have a ideal and committed client. They really want to work with me, and I would love to bring everything I have to work with them too. And we meet in between in that container, and so many magic and healing and transformation can happen. And yeah.
So powerful. Yeah, awesome. I'm going to post a question here that Catherine asked, like, you know, you just made 80,000 in 2 months. It's a great question, Catherine. How many hours are you working each week? Just so people have a full transparency of what it looks like.
So I work like 11 hours every week.
Beautiful.
Yeah, 11 hours. And I have time for my self-care, my practice, my hiking, everything. Yeah, so that I can bring my creativity, energy, my freshness into the healing room.
Beautiful. How many hours were you working before Thriving Healers? How many hours a week?
Oh, at that time I work like 20 or 25 sessions per week, and sometimes like if I work less than that, I feel like where's my income will come? Oh, how can I pay my office rent? Yeah, and
Yeah, so I think you're speaking to another really important piece of the Thriving Healers program. So, one, you learned how to enroll clients in a
Mm,
sustainable way, but it's incredible. Not only did you make 80,000 in 2 months and book out income that's sustainable for many, many months,
mm,
you've also decreased your hours by more than half,
yes.
right?
Yeah.
That is so cool. And
Yeah.
so I think the piece of that puzzle, like one of the things that we're teaching is you how to go from that hour by hour to having
Yeah.
these programs that you put together. How was it for you to put together your, I think you said it's 6 or 8 months that you work with people. You want to tell us a little bit about what that looks like?
My program I offer is to help people with childhood trauma because special Asian women, many people grow up without having the happy childhood. So I help people to connect with their childhood, with their inner child within themselves, and then so that they can be able to express themselves. So I put that program in 6 months where I walk people to one step at a time, and people cannot heal by session overnight. So they need a period of 6 months to embody what they practice into their daily life to bring the lasting result.
Yeah, for the
Yeah,
lasting results.
yeah.
Absolutely. And I think most practitioners on some level we really understand that, like we see clients session, we, you know, you might be seeing clients session by session, but on some level it's like we know it takes time to really embody
Mm,
the skills. So Sonia says, congratulations for making a handsome amount of money through your passion. It's so cool, right?
yeah.
Yes, you deserve. Catherine said, oh boy, that's amazing. um, Sonia asked, is our business model for international healers as well? Yeah, we have healers and thriving healers. I'm in Hawaii, and it goes all the way across the United States, Europe, Australia, New Zealand. You know, so we have the whole. The
Mm,
hardest thing we do in thriving healers, I would say, is find a time that works across many time zones for us all to meet.
mm, mm.
But that's a great question that you're asking, Sonia. Thank you. Um, have you noticed and anything around like related to people being there being a pandemic and people going through a stressful time? Have you noticed how has that impacted your healing practice as you were getting started? This was all happening.
Oh, pandemic. People will. The first thing I noticed, people stay at home. Most of them, everybody stay at home now. What does it mean by that? So they have more time and they're willing to pick up the phone and talk to you when you call them.
Yeah.
So, but the second thing is people. I promise we will have fun, and then we are.
Yes, you did promise we'd have fun.
And the second is people stay at home and they slow down on off their activity and they cannot go outside. That means they have to go inside, and not many people they have a skill and the practice to work for their inner work. So when they at home and they have to go inside to look within, they say, oh man, I cannot live my life the way I used to live anymore. I need to change my diet. I need to work with my relationship or my emotion. And that is very, that means you do a race survey. Any healer at this moment do a race survey for the people like that. They need to be whole. They need to get support. Whatever is you can give to
Yes.
them. So
Yes.
yeah, I feel actually in this sensitive time, I be able to stand for my potential client and my client. So they really appreciate, and I feel they are willing and they have more commit to do the inner work because they see change is the current right now. So if they don't do anything for themselves or in the work, they are out of game.
They are what?
They are out of game. Like that means like they feel like, wow, I'm stuck. What what
Right.
what can I do?
Right.
Yeah,
Right. So you're seeing with your clients as you're enrolling clients that they need it more right now. They're more willing,
yes,
they have more time. And what I'm hearing is because you have this new business model, you can really hold them in a deep way to do that work.
yeah. Because many people they just started to remember their life event, the memory, and they didn't know what to do with that. and then I have the program to help people to release the trauma, and it happened to be very aligned with them. So
Yes.
yeah,
Beautiful. I think it's just a really important thing for all of us to hear right now because you're sharing that. A lot of practitioners and thriving healers are saying this is my best month ever. I'm seeing more clients than ever. Our practitioners are needing more support holding all of that they're being called to
mm,
hold right now. And so having support to know how to find those clients and then be available for them it's such a potent time. and
mm,
and and your what you've done over the last few months is really evidence that people are wanting and needing right now, not last year, not in 6 months, but
yeah,
right now. They're really
yeah,
needing and wanting.
yeah.
So Catherine asks, what type of healing modality do you practice? So are you doing long distance healing now? It's a great question. I can't share it on for whatever reason on the screen, but yeah. So tell us a little bit about your modality and how you're doing your work.
So my practice is in session is included is the conversation talking to help people to do the emotional processing, and then during that we will work on distant healing, hand on distant healing if there is needed in that moment.
Great.
And they and also the client would love to learn like how they can be able to cope with their emotion like fear, anxiety. So I will teach them some mindfulness breathing technique for them to be able to do that
Great.
at home by themselves.
Beautiful.
So
So
yeah,
it's a comprehensive program that includes counseling, it sounds like, listening, long
yeah,
distance healing, some homework and exercises and things that they can do at home.
yeah.
Yeah.
Because everybody I realize like nowadays they are very open. The client and people they are open to receive the new thing, to learn the new thing, to work on themselves.
Yeah.
So please, if you have skill and if you have a gift, just come show up and share your gift with your clients.
Totally. um, that brought me to a question. I wonder if I forgot it. Did you see, because I know you used to do in-person work before the pandemic.
Yeah.
How has it been gone for clients that are working with you before that there was a shelter in place going on?
So with the shelter in place, my client went to shock, like they cancel the program, or they say, oh, I will see you when everything gets settled down. And I was in fear too, but then I be able to grounding myself, work with my fear, and I offer them the Zoom session for just check in with themselves and see. And in the Zoom, I can be able to do help them, and they feel there is no difference between in person and distant. And on of the client, they withdraw, they start signing back again. They say, "Oh yeah, there is no difference. I need to work now." And I'm like, "Yes." And then I have them back. There is and then the new client now I enroll everybody. They so happy work with distant healing.
Great. Yeah. I
Yeah,
know it's a big fear for a lot of people to go from in person to long distance work, that maybe their clients will get on board. And it sounds like your clients weren't aware that it was possible. And
yeah,
what I love is that, part of the skill of enrollment that we're teaching is about staying with you and staying with the client. And you
yeah,
stayed with them through that, like, oh my God, there's, crisis, and you stayed with them, and then they were able to drop into the support that you're providing them.
yeah, yeah,
That's
yeah. That
awesome.
is the important skill I learned from Thriving Healer.
Yeah, totally.
It's safe. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's really common when someone of our clients says, "Oh, I got to cancel." The natural reaction is like, "Oh, like we don't want to impose anything," but
Mm,
it's actually such a service to stay with them and say,
mm,
"What's going on? Let's hear what's happening for you," and see that they actually might need the support now more than ever, and just to be like, okay, and not take a stand for them would be a disservice to them. So you really took a stand for your clients, and they're benefiting from that.
yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. Awesome. Okay. So in order to do this, right,
Mm,
like to go from, wondering if you had to get a job and working 25 sessions a
mm,
week, and just getting by to where you are now, make, $80,000 2 months and halving the number of sessions. What were the biggest inner shifts that you had to make?
The biggest inner shift is about inner shifts. I think that is I learned from you and from Thriving Healer program is about how I can have a conversation, how I can communicate with the client in the way it's more clear for them to be able to see the value of the program, and then they can be able to take that value and apply into their life to change their life themselves and family and whatever. So I think that is the biggest shift in about I learned how to communicate.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, and that tool get learned in enrollment call.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that is a very important shift I learned because I'm still Kylie and my work is still the same, my outfit is still the same, but the shift is the communicate and how to be in relationship with the client. So that is so important. So
Yeah.
I think that, yeah.
So important. So cool. Yeah. And actually, one of the things I hear from most practitioners, and maybe it was something that you had experienced too, was like, how do I talk about what I'm doing in a way people understand?
Yeah.
Because people are like, they don't understand how it can help them. And I could see I can help them, but they're not understanding it. And then it can lead to us feeling like, oh, what I'm doing isn't valuable, or the self-doubt comes in because people don't understand. And so
Yeah.
there is a very clear way to communicate that we have it. That's also part of our kuleana, right? Like, it's not the
Mm,
client's job to know how
mm,
this could help them. It's
mm,
our job to be able to connect the dots for them about here's
mm,
what's going on for you, and here's how we can help you connect the
mm.
dots to get where you want to go, right?
Yeah, right. And I learned the Thriving Healer take me step by step. I feel it's just like you guys are mother and holding my hand. I'm a baby and and holding my hand for step by step in the enrollment call or in the Thriving program. Yeah, so yeah, I enjoy it so much.
Oh, we love having you. um, Sonia asks, how do you deal with skeptics?
What does mean skeptic?
Skeptics are
Like,
like people who are like distrustful of like, is that real? Could it really help me? Like, they might have some energy of like skepticism is like,
oh, I got it.
yeah,
Yeah.
good.
So I think the best answer in this case is just about can provide the experience, the healing or the energy experience for that person when they have can be able to have an experience how the energy work in their body, how they feel. So there is that answer already um, slow down their mistrust about energy healing.
Right.
So
So what I'm hearing is that it's through the relationship and the space that you're holding and the energy that you're holding that's created some trust. Is that?
it's also like if the people they didn't trust the work. Actually, I have a client. He wanted to take the program, but then they say, "Oh, I want to do that in person. I don't want to do that distant healing. Can we wait?" I say, "Let's do one experiment at this moment." And I asked him, like, "Can you just visualize I'm standing in front of you?" He said, "Yeah." And can you set intention to just scan my hand and just feel what is the energy you scan there, and I'm right here. And he scanned, he said, "Oh wow, I can feel your heat, I can feel the energy flow." And then after that, and then I also scan him, and then I give him the response, and he say like, "Wow, it's so powerful, I'm in." and he and he's a scientist too, so
Wow. Yeah, that's
yeah.
amazing. And I mean, I'm just so touched by that story because not only was he skeptical about you and then does this work healing, but by you holding that space and doing that exercise with him, he had a felt experience of something that's probably going to open him up to a whole
Yeah,
new world, right?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, yeah. And I'll just say for skeptics that come along, there's a lot of ways that we want to work with them. And um, really, when someone has a concern about the work that you're doing with them, you want to get underneath the top level concern. So the concern might be, oh, I want to see you in person versus long distance. What's underneath that? In this case, you were finding he wasn't trusting that that energy could actually be experienced in a
Mm,
long distance, right? He already knew it worked in person because he was on board with that. So you got underneath the top level concern and helped address what was going on there. And for most people, it's usually like, will underneath it all is like, will this work for me? Can I do
mm,
it?
mm,
Can you really help me? So there's like a self-trust piece for a lot of people, like, can I trust myself to do this? And then
mm,
there's also a trust piece of the practitioner. Can you really help me? And
mm,
that's what we're teaching in the enrollment conversation, is how to hold that space for someone when they hit into, because if
mm,
that trust place is coming up in relation to the work together, it's going to be showing up in their lives, right?
mm, mm. Yeah.
Yeah.
So now, like, it's not about I'm waiting for objection with the client because I have a tool how to do that. It's just about when they have a question that is really, there is a good side, they really want to work with you. It's just about how I can be able to hold space and help the client go deep in whatever they want to experience.
Totally. So cool. Yeah. And I always say, like, the more clear you are on what you're offering and how it can help someone, the less concerns or skepticism there will be.
Yeah.
So that's a big piece of it. Um, is there anything else you want to share about your experience in Thriving Healers that feel would be helpful to people?
Um, the helpful experience, let me see, because so many good experience, so I think I just start and then it will flow.
Just start and it will flow.
I start and then it will flow. The experience is the thriving healer for me. This is a family, and I feel a very supportive. Whatever doing the work, if I stuck somewhere and I can post the question, and then I get the support to from Julie or Jonathan or from all of the team member. And the one thing I really love is about, I'm saying that it is the marriage between business and um, healing. And we have a business coaching and supervision where I work with client. If I feel stuck or if I didn't know what to do with that client, I can bring that into the supervision, and it's really helpful. Or even if I work with that client and if I feel I'm not enough for that client, and this can be addressed in the thriving healer too. It's not
Right.
just like um,
Right, right. It's not just marketing strategy or something like that. You're actually, working with all the components of your inner world as well.
and thriving healer build up the program very clear, like very structural, have module, and each module we work into that. And what I love is all of the support call from the team lead from yeah.
That's great. I love that you love those one-on-one calls. That's great.
Yeah. And the way keep track, the raw said, is I didn't feel the pushing. It's just like, oh, this is the reminder, and this is so inviting. And I'm just like allow myself to show up and do the work. And I feel if that, the result is guaranteed. I know there is no guarantee in nowadays, but it's like you show up, you have the intention to grow your business, and you know that's what you love to do. And I feel, uh, yeah, try the program. It's just like I have a responsibility for myself and for my gift.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I feel I betray myself. Yeah.
That's so powerful. Yeah. I think that what you just said, that last piece is so important, that when you're not showing up for your gift, it feels like you're betraying yourself. And I think I've for sure felt that. And I'm sure many of us, whether, on whatever level of awareness, that's probably
Mm,
true. And Jonathan, who's our supervisor in Thriving Healers, once told a story, and I'm not going to get the story right. I'm not good at that part, like the storytelling part of this, but it's almost like, when you're not allowed, the gem I took away
mm,
from this one story was like, if you're not really honoring your gifts that want to come through you and the energy that wants to come through you, it will create pain, and it will create, at some point it might make you actually sick, right? Like to,
mm,
physically to be not in that level, somebody said the other day, like, when you're not expressing what's inside of
Mm,
you, right,
mm,
there will be some disconnect there. And so uh, I feel so, I never thought that I would be teaching practitioners how to grow their healing practice. When I became a healer, I didn't ever see that for myself.
mm,
But when it's painful to me when someone just doesn't have the the support or the skills that they need that are
mm,
available to then
mm,
bridge that gap between I have something to offer and being able to really offer it and also earn a living doing that. It's so important.
mm.
And it's so empowering because when you can earn a sustainable living, you can relax into your work in such a deeper way.
Yeah. And also, like when I can be able to earn more, I can be able to give more. So I help my parents pay the debt.
No, that's so cool. And you shared that story that you were paid off their debt. That was amazing.
Yeah. And yeah, it just kind of take the burden on my shoulder, off my shoulder. And also be able to offer like free meditation and dancing movement in this moment, because if I don't have the sustainable income, my mind just went crazy and I could not be able to show up for my community.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
yeah.
so powerful. Like it's so true. When the more we receive, the more we can give. And when we get stuck in that split that there's something wrong with charging or taking, we think it's taking something from someone, we actually cutting off the flow of what we can generously give, you know.
Yeah.
Um, so we've got two questions. Cara says, what about when people say they want to be in contact? They love the in-person sessions, don't want to give that up, not sure if they could get the space at home. I find this a lot. Well, I know you, Cara, so I know that you do have an office and an in-person practice. So I think what's important about this question is right now that's not an option, right? Right now in the world that's not actually an option. And so um, the thing is to address what's underneath that concern, because is it better to not have support for your client because they're unable to come into the office and just like not have any support at all? Or is it important to actually come through that? The truth is, like when you say, I don't want to give that up, not sure if they could get the space at home to truly disconnect. I would say that we wouldn't want to collude with the client's a pattern that says like an objection that says, oh, I wouldn't be able to get the space to do it, because part of what would be powerful here would be to say, let's find the space, let's make the space, because this is what's available right now. Let's use that to get you the support and also the transformation that you want right now when you can't come into the office. So if you buy into some defense of theirs that says, oh no, that couldn't work for me or I couldn't have the time, then I feel like there's a disservice there that the client actually won't get some support that they could really use. And yeah, there'll be kids and dogs and spouses, and that's true for all of us right now, right? So it's true. And so you're going to have to go through that concern to how do we carve this space out for you? I have had so much going on in my house at one point that I went out into the
Yeah.
car and I did a healing session with my healer, right? I just made it happen. Do you have anything to add about that, Kylie?
Um, I just have just one thing, and how could you know? Just like, yeah, some client, they will be so ready and they can make space to work like the like you share, but some client they actually really stuck, they didn't have space, so just leave them and allow yourself to do to engage to the new potential client. Don't just stand in one tree and cry about that. Just like go to make a new wave of the client, new client coming. So let's try to walk client through, if they can be able to create a space for themselves. If they don't, just leave them alone and you work with whatever you need to work to bring more clients come in. So
Beautiful. I
yeah,
love that, right? There's more than enough clients, more than
yeah,
enough people than we could probably expand
yeah,
ourselves to
yeah,
support, especially right now. Such a powerful reminder. Yeah, you don't have to convince anybody of anything.
yeah,
And
yeah,
if it's not right for them for whatever reason, you can work with that.
mm,
And then if that's still a no for them, great. Right? Like you
yeah,
said, there's so many more potential clients who are going to make the space to do that work.
yeah.
Yeah.
And what I can hear, like maybe this is the time for you to to what is Carol, her name?
Kara.
Kara, yeah, can be able to learn how I can bring more, where I can learn to bring more new client coming. So that may be the, yeah.
Great. Yep. That's another piece. Totally. Love it. So Monica says, I have the same thing as what Kara wrote. Some people booked online, but they canceled because they could not believe in distance. Yeah. So you have two options. Have a short call with them to see what their
Mm,
concern is. And like, Kylie gave a great example of how when someone had that concern, she supported them with it. And then they were ready to move forward. And then if not, there's so many people who are looking for and needing support right now, right? So keep moving.
yeah. Something about distant healing, like a schedule, like video call. Because some people I know, like, or talk on phone and hang up the phone, so they will not sure. So for them, make sure they can be able to see you on video call,
Yes.
so they can be able to believe. Yeah,
Yeah.
they can feel more.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've been getting that feedback from a lot of our colleagues are trying distance work right now, and
Mm,
I'm hearing a lot of people say like when they can see their practitioner, even
mm,
if you could get off the phone and do the healing, and it would be just as potent transmission of energy. It's often very supportive to the client to
yeah.
see you and be able to say something to you if they want to. So that's
Yeah.
yeah, a good piece about distance work. Okay, if anybody else has any questions, you're welcome to post them there. If you're watching the replay, please, let us know that you're joining us from the replay and we'll get back to your questions. Kylie, I want to say like you're rocking it. Thank you for your, one of the things that's transmitted to me from you is this pure intention. Like you are so willing and so
Mm,
devoted to service and your gift that you're willing to show up and learn and do what it takes. And that's, an incredible testament to the results that you're seeing in your healing practice. And it's incredibly inspiring.
thank you so much, Julie, for create the platform to help the healer and practitioner, because I would be very lost and try very hard in the next 5 or 10 years to build a thriving healing my healing business. But because you show up, because you do what you love to do, and it happened to help me, and I'm sure was with so many healer out there,
Mm,
and I'm very thankful for that.
thank you, Kylie. I'm going to share here with you guys a link if you want to hear more about Thriving Healers. You can check out our intro webinar, which is Kylie said that helped her get to 2,000 a month, right? Just watching this one training. So check it out. It's pretty potent. I don't know where it went when I put it in the comments. Oh, there it is. And I'll put it up here on the screen for people if you want to check out that free training. And if you want to reach out to me, have questions, you're more than welcome to. And Kylie, are you open to responding some questions people might have for you here in this chat later on?
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Yeah, if people want to
Yes.
reach out to you.
Mm,
And how do we
mm.
how do we connect with you if someone's curious about doing some, childhood trauma healing work? How do we connect with you?
Um, I think it's easy to give the phone number. So
Okay.
can I?
Yeah.
For, yeah, my phone number 408-317-8821, and just give me a call or text me. I'm sure I will respond to that. Yeah.
Okay, beautiful. I just put it in the comments as well. Thank you guys so much for joining us. It's been so wonderful to have you here. Monique, Sonia, Catherine, all saying thank you. Cara, thank you for your questions. And Kylie, thank you for your sharing so authentically your journey.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah. All right.
Bye,
Thank you. Bye
everyone.
bye.